moves taking, Kian? 5 hours and 41 minutes. Ow!
Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello!
And today we are bringing you Adeptus Mechanicus robots.
You say it right. Kastelan robots.
Kastelan robots, yes, that's true. Right, what do we know about robots in
Nothing.
the 40k? Yes, you do.
Not anything.
In original...
Mars.
Obviously, yes. In original 40k, this thing, robots actually were around quite a lot. There were a lot of robots. These are the... So that's a dreadnought. These are the robots in the original game, and you had various types of robots. There we go. That's the robots down there. All sorts of different types of robots, and they kind of featured heavily for about 2 years. Then they were phased out. Now, the main reason you think 40k is set in the future, you'd think that 40k you would have lots and lots of robots because it's the future. Well, the problem is robots are actually more or less banned in the Empire. What they usually do is use servitors, which are humans who've been lobotomized and programmed to do just a simple task like sweeping the floor or reading books or whatever. And so robots have been replaced by humans. Now the Adeptus Mechanicus do use robots, that's these guys. So first of all we'll have a look at them, like the box. Right, so that's the basic book of how to put them together. And these are the robots. You get Mechanicus style weapons, which are standard flamers and things like that, auto guns, which usually have some special rules to them. They are about the same to put together as Primaris, the Primaris breeds, which are a little bit more tedious than putting normal breeds together, aren't they? Now, robots are remarkably stupid. They're basically programmed with very, very simple orders. So if you tell a robot to advance, it will advance into a lava pit and die. And if you tell it to shoot at something, it will shoot at that thing continuously, forever, until you tell it to stop. Because they have no form of AI, they have no form of being able to make a decision itself. And that's because AI in the 40k universe is illegal. You're not allowed to have AI. Primarily because AI tried to wipe out humanity at one point. At the end of the Great Pre-Imperial Federation, the Federation of Humanity, AI basically tried to kill all the humans. And it was led by the Iron Men, which were basically AI robots. Artificial intelligent robots. And so the Adeptus Mechanicus robots are not the usual sci-fi sort of robot. You can imagine one that walks around and can self-determinate. They're really dumb. And they need a trooper, the trooper that you get in here, to control them continuously, because they are so dumb. Yeah? So what do you want to know about robots?
Well, everything you just told me is not what I know. It's the opposite of what I know.
Well, what do you know then?
Well, all robots have the same artificial intelligence.
But they don't have artificial intelligence, that's the point. They're just like a remote control car.
It's a robot. You can't have a robot with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, but this is the 41st millennium.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but that makes no sense.
Well,
That's not scientifically accurate.
the problem with AI is unbelievably dangerous, which is why humanity don't actually invent new things, because they might invent something that will kill humanity. So it's all quite complex and built into the law that you can't have any form of advanced artificial intelligence, which is of course what STCs are. they're advanced forms of AI, and they're remarkably dangerous. During the dark age of technology, or before the dark age of technology rather, humans had spread out all throughout the universe. We pretty much were the dominant species in the universe, and we were just at the pinnacle of our civilization. Part of enabling humanity to spread out into the universe was done by the was it not the Golden Men? There were three groups: the Golden Men, which are humans, the Iron Men, which were robots, and what was the other one?
Not a clue.
They were like cyber. Pretty much, they're a type of android. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, my brain hurts. Anyway, Stone Men. The Stone Men. The Stone Men were sent out because it took so long to fly anywhere before jump space was invented, before warp space was discovered. It took so long to get anywhere that we sent out the Stone Men, which were imagine Data from Star Trek. They were like Data, basically. They were androids, and they were sent out, and they created Iron Men, which were the AI robots, which would build these colonies for humanity. And then when humanity finally arrived on their large space travelling barges, the colony would already be under construction. And so the SDCs were the AIs which ran the colonies originally, and the standard template constructors were huge machines that could create anything that was needed, from a car to a battle titan, anything. At some point things got out of hand, and the Iron Men began to fight against the humans. Now, it was the Stone Men who took most of the fighting, defending humanity. So the androids were fighting to defend humanity. But then when the Stone Men were losing, a few other races helped out at the same time, probably the Eldari and other races like that, probably the Orcs as well, because Orcs now are not Orcs then. And eventually humanity, along with their allies and the Stone Men, were able to defeat the Iron Men. Now the Stone Men themselves appear to have killed themselves, probably because it was all their fault. And they died at the same time. However, they are still Stone Men around, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
We are aware of at least two Stone Men that are definitely around.
Yeah, one's on the Eisenstein, isn't it?
The big black ship, one of the black ships of the
Yeah, because he's talking to him. He keeps talking about a bunch of stuff he used to do.
Yeah, so back in prehistory days, before he was born, before even his great grandfather was born.
Then the dude finds out and he goes, ah.
Ah, yeah, you're an android.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are still Stone Men knocking around. And I kind of consider the Stone Men to be very much like the 40k universe is in many ways based on Isaac Asimov's Foundation trilogy. And in the Foundation trilogy, it's 20,000 years of the Imperium, of an Imperium, that the Imperium falls. But what actually shaped the Imperium and kept the Imperium running was secretly they were robots that everyone thought were myth. And these robot androids were actually running everything, but no one knew they existed. They were a myth, they were a legend. But in actual fact, the Emperor's chief advisor was actually a robot himself, but he kept pretending to die and being someone else. So as Demerzel, he was the Emperor's advisor, and he shaped the creation of the Foundation. It's a long story. Read the books. So I think that in the 40k universe, the Stone Men are still around, or some of them at least, and not just we know two that are definitely around, but they are probably a lot more still around, and they are trying their best to protect humanity, which was their primary job to start with. So they're kind of in the background, trying to help out. That's how I see it. Now, the Iron Men, these guys are not Iron Men. These guys are basically robots. A lot of them are probably, particularly this design, were around at the time of that particular war. And some of them may actually have been the original Iron Men. So, we don't know. But they are very, very old. Some of these robots are more than 10,000 years old. Robots are regularly cannibalized to make other robots, so it's sort of, how old is your broomstick? It's had 15 different handles and 20 different heads, but it's still your great-great-grandmother's broomstick. Mm. So bits of these will probably date back to pre-Empire. But then again, how much of the coding actually survives? We don't know. But that's a little bit of the history of the robots. Now, there are 2 boxes of these you can get. There's this box, which is the, you get 2 robots in it and a guy, and this costs £45. I stupidly bought this box before I saw the second box, which was for, I think it's £100, is it, or £95? And you get 6 robots in it. So you are actually getting a free box, if more or less, if you get the large box instead of this box.
Yeah. And
we wanted to have quite a few robots, and so I thought, I'll get this box and I'll buy a couple more boxes later. If I'd have seen that box, I'd have got the larger box first, but I didn't. Also, in that box you get a large commander as well. So you don't just get 3 of these guys and 6 robots, you also get a commander. Which is quite cool. Which is I think it's the same commander you get in the box set, which is over there. Which we have. I think we've done a video on that already. Haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So watch that video for that. But yeah, personally, I wish I'd have seen the larger box first, because I feel like an idiot now for buying this one. But anyway, I think that's it, isn't it?
Indeed.
So thank you very much for watching. It's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Goodbye.